Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the technical trader at techtrader.com. These are the charts of the day. It is, let's see, Tuesday night, December the 8th. Markets had a interesting day, sharply lower at the opening, then came back and closed mixed. There were a lot of individual stocks that did well, and we're going to take a look at a few of those. You can see that Berry Plastics, which is highly thought of in Wall Street, after the big run-up last year from the 22 range up to the high 30s, then pulled back down. Held for about 2 months, right in that 28.5 range, broke out and platformed, so to speak, held the 50-day moving average on the way back, as well as the declining tops line. From that point, 32 to 37.5, it consolidated. Today, it looked like it broke out. It ran up 71 cents or a couple percent, but I think the stock's headed towards 42.5, 43, my short-term trading target. And we have a little bit of support right here, about 30, let's see, 36. Boston Scientific's a stock we've liked for a long time. Here's the long-term chart. Coming out of the declining tops line back in 13, it's run from 5 to the high teens. Now, in the last few months, we've had this sliding pattern, dipped in August, recovered, and there's the breakout retest. And you can see that, similar to a lot of stocks, we have the same kind of pattern where run up, consolidate, run up, consolidate. I believe another leg's coming. It's going to take us to the 20 area minimum, but it should go even higher. Now, it's a low beta stock, so it may not be as exciting to everybody. I'm just looking at the long term. I think it's a stock that gets to the mid channel around 24. Beyond that, longer term, 30. CNTY. Now, Century Casinos, a lot of gaming stocks are doing well. This one in particular, it broke out of a double top today, and it did it with 840,000, which is big volume for that stock. Matter of fact, the biggest all year. It's a good sign. And it closing near the upper end of the range. I think the stock is a shot at 8.25, and through that level, we're looking at mid-channel around 9.5, and then we'll see where it goes from there. You can see here's a weekly, very nice long-term chart, which could lead to at least a move up to the 06 high, which took it up to 12. So looking for 8.5, let's call it 10 and 12. CYTK. Well, as you know, the stock was a nice pop when it broke out here with a big surge, and then it pulled back, consolidated, broke out, little head fake here, and then pulled back down again. We put a swing trade on it before it broke, and then it's backed up to test again. I don't want it under 10, that's my stop, but the bottom line is today popped, snapped back 70 cents or 6 1/3%, 4.7 million, decent, but not, 469,000. Low volume for a snapback. What I'm looking for is a move to the 13, 14 range and eventually 17. 5.5 days to cover could help this one. With a base breakout and platform like that, good chances of going higher. Now EFUT with an explosive move in November that took it from the 4.5 range all the way up to the high teens, then came down a very orderly 6-day pullback. Yesterday it popped out and today it followed through. There is resistance at about the 13 3/4, 14 range, and then 15, but I think the stock is a shot at retesting the higher or even making higher highs in towards 20. Looks pretty good. Not a big short position, but it was up $1.20 today or 10%. Watch this one. EGRX with a monster day up 18.29 or 22%. And what that did was break it out over all this resistance and may very well see a quick test, even tomorrow, a 103.4 zone. And getting through that, you're in all-time high territory. It wouldn't shock me if the stock went to 120 over the next few weeks. 5.4 days to cover on that. Swing trade GLOB came out of a flag today with a little bit of a pop, 80 cents or 2.2%. There's 8.8 days to cover. I think that's going to fuel the fire. Get this one to 43, 44 zone, my target. ITCI, it's a stock I've liked for a long time. I just like the overall structure. It's moved up, double top, pulled back by this flag here, and reversal today at 275 with 6.7 days to cover. I think gets us back to 60 and eventually mid-70s. ORMP, after the explosive move a week and a half ago, came down to test the trend line, 10-day moving average, lateral price support, and spiked back up $1.04, 12.4% today. 11.4 days to cover. We could get this to 11 very quickly. Beyond that, my target's going to be upwards of 15, so keep an eye on this one. Ring Central, looking very good in here. Broke out today, and my short-term target is 26. There's 4.4 days to cover. Beautiful long-term pattern. Good underlying technicals, OBV, etc. TXMD with a monster move today. Now 25 million shares is the all-time record volume for one day. You can see that stock broke out above a massive triple top. And at this point, with the lateral channel that I've drawn in, I'm going to reach you up because I think it's more appropriate to have it look like this. So a minimum of 11 short term. You might very well see higher levels towards the 13 range. 24 days to cover, incredible. I'm amazed it didn't do better today. VTL, well, with the pattern looking like it is, and that flag, I put out a swing on it today. It did break out and close near the upper end of the range. It was up 84 cents or 8.75% on 508,000, which is the biggest volume in a week and a half. With OBV looking the way it is, that's the reason I gave it to you. I felt like this stock's being bought. I'm looking for a fill of the gap, which gets this one up to 13, 12.5, 13 zone, and then eventually 15, 16 zone. Pretty interesting chart. 3.4 days to cover. That brings us to VUZI, which after breaking out of the base, pulling back and testing, bounced again, and now it's consolidating in a wedge. I think we got one more leg up to go before we get any major resistance. 7.5 and 8, my target. And lastly is ZAG, which has just been flying of late, and you can see that it's broken through major resistance and it's up against that 13, 14 zone, which is long-term resistance going all the way back to 2012. Here is 5.25 days to cover. Stock jumped 99 cents or almost 9% today. I think we get a little follow through, but be careful, it is extended. And that's it for tonight, everybody. Have a good